Finally, I am back with yet another update on the road to becoming a musician. This place is at my parents', as I am no longer at the folk high school for music. In my previous vlog, I mentioned that my plan was to stay here at my parents' for a while, earn a bit of money whilst finding a new apartment. And the good news are that I did find a job. Not that many hours, but I did find a job, and I managed to find an apartment with two of my friends from the folk high school. The bad news are actually none, so that's amazing. Currently I am 24 years old and I've been living in this house till the age of 19. And these early teenage years brought a lot of bad habits, and when I return I can still smell these bad habits. They're kind of still here and still a part of me. Last year I came back to stay at my parents for a while whilst I was waiting to go to the folk high school for music. And I made a vlog on this, and I had a few pitfalls in this vlog that I just want to show you guys once more. Listen to this. And now you might be thinking, well, if I had 24 hours of the day to just practice, I would become immensely good, I would progress so fast. And I thought so too. But the reality is different though. You see, I have been practicing, I have definitely been practicing. But I've also messed up my sleep pattern, and I've also spent way too much time just watching YouTube videos. I actually spent way too much time just sitting at home practicing. So when I finally had to leave the house for some reason, I'd return just devastated, just way too tired, and that's what happened today. Coming back home this summer, I was very afraid of falling back into these bad habits, so I made a few rules for myself. The first one being about sleep. I have to go to bed between 10 and 11 at night, depending on the work schedule and such. Then I have to get up between 6 and 7 in the morning. And so far I've succeeded in doing so. The second rule is about me not leaving the house at all. When I wake up at 6 or 7, I go for a walk. First thing in the morning, I go for a 15-minute walk. And this, it kind of helps remove the clouds from my mind, and I'm not as sleepy. So I walk every morning and also midday, and I put in some exercise. I tend to go for a quick run every other day, which is nice. It's just 2.5 kilometers, nothing really demanding, just going for a quick run. And the last one is about YouTube. I installed an app on my phone which limits the time in which I can use certain apps. As for example, I have a limit 15 minutes on my Google Chrome app. I've got half an hour on the YouTube app. And those are my pitfalls, so I've got a limit on that. Also, it records my screen time, so it's kind of fun to see how much my phone is in use during the day, and it tends to be between an hour and 3 hours, and that's quite a lot. I also use it for tools such as ear training and sight reading and a timer for when I practice. But it really amazes me how much I use my phone. My practice schedule also differs from last time I stayed here. I am still practicing 3 hours of intense focused practice, or at least as focused as I can manage. And the difference is that I'm instead of dividing my practice into 20-minute chunks per exercise, it's only 10 to 15-minute chunks per exercise. Because I found that my ability to focus within one exercise tends to diminish at about 10 minutes of practicing that exercise. And then I'm kind of wasting the last 10 minutes. So I'm changing everything up at about the 10-15 minute mark. And if I was you right now, I'd probably wonder why is he choosing to only practice for 3 hours every day when he actually has more time. And I'll try to answer this question as great as possible. In my experience, if I know I have the whole day to practice the piano, I tend to completely disregard any kind of focus, and I'm not really getting the quality of my practice, and I'm not really that engaged in the process. So I'd rather have this limit on myself to say that I've got 3 hours every day and I have to focus, because that's pretty much all I'm getting. And I may tend to exceed this, but I just do 3 hours and then I do a long break, and I'll continue if I know there's focus to do so, or else I go for a walk. I'd like to support what I'm trying to say by reading a few lines of this book by Robert Greene called Mastery. And he writes in this book, "You recognize your weaknesses, precisely the elements you are not good at. Those are the aspects you give precedence to in your practice. You train yourself to concentrate in practice with double the intensity, as if it were the real thing times 2. In devising your own routines, you become as creative as possible. You invent exercises that work upon your weaknesses. In the end, your 5 hours of intense, focused work are the equivalent of 10 for most people. Soon enough, you will see the result of such practice, and others will marvel at the apparent ease in which you accomplish your deeds." One last thing I'd like to mention on this topic is, and I'll use a real life anecdote here, that one evening I had the opportunity, which we always have, to have some downtime, do something else, or go practice. And I wasn't really feeling practicing that night, but I knew that if I wanted to become a musician, and maybe even a great one, I had to go practice. So I decided to go practice. I had just that 1 hour, so I practiced for an hour and I went to bed. The next morning then, I didn't want to practice the piano at all, like completely not at all. And it was quite fun, because I actually began to question whether I had chosen the right path, whether music was something for me and such. It was really weird, really kind of out of my head experience. So I took a complete day off, not playing at all. And the next day, I woke up more motivated than ever, I think, and I just began practicing. I think those breaks and the immersive experience of doing focused practice and then having a great break and enjoying your life and such, if you find a way to combine those in a great way, I think that's what makes you not only a great musician, but also a great person. So that got philosophical. That's very exciting. Anyway, that's it.